So I just had an interesting experience. Well, interesting for me at least. I'm not sure how, for some people, it might not be that significant or relevant, but um, it's an experience where, so as part of doing these videos, we're also doing, my brother and I are doing these, I guess, podcast like long form interviews with all different people, and that was a big step to do that. Partially because it's the evolution of this, right? It's trying to take this in a different direction and take it more externally, where you're getting more inputs and you're testing out some of the things that we're trying to apply. It's also a little bit more vulnerable, right? Because now you are engaging with other people and sharing this thing, whatever this side kind of project is that you're doing, and it opens up the opportunity for people to think it's stupid or pointless or not that great. And then very specifically related to that in the discussion itself, you hope they find it interesting, you hope it's something beneficial or value add for them in some way, or just enjoyable at least. So it starts to open up all those things. And for me, that is an opportunity. I guess I'll say it that way, right? When those things start to get opened up, it starts to present an opportunity, because those things make me uncomfortable. Being really passionate about something, really believing in something, trying to turn it into something, right? Trying to make it whatever these videos and those podcasts or interviews are, and exposing it to the world is a very uncomfortable thing to do. It feels very necessary. It feels like it's the right thing to do, but deep in my bones, it feels uncomfortable because I don't like being vulnerable like that. It's the cliched thing, right? It's as much as I know it's wrong and I would regret it, it is much safer to sit on my couch and watch TV and in my head think about the things I could achieve if I only put forth the effort, or if I only really wanted it, versus actually trying to achieve it and failing potentially. That's a horrific concept to me. And we could probably, and maybe I will a little bit in this video, delve into why that is, right? I think there's certainly a people pleaser side of me that doesn't want to look stupid or fail or have people think less of me. But there's also an ego component to it too, where I'd like to think I'm capable of doing something great. But anyways, I say all that because we just did our sixth interview, podcast session, and they've all been, good and useful. This one was no different. It was an interesting conversation, but there were some aspects of this one that left me exposed to some of those vulnerabilities I just spoke of. There was opportunity to interpret the way it went as, it didn't go as planned. Perhaps the interviewee, or even my brother in this case, weren't feeling it, weren't as into it. I felt it for myself as I was kind of asking the questions. There was certain points where I just felt like I had to say something, so I said things, and they were more throwaway lines, which I'd like to think is the older version of me, more that people pleaser. You say something, it's kind of bullshit, but you say it because it sounds good, but that's not meaningful. That's not the point of what this is supposed to be. And these aren't like catastrophic or monumental things. They're just things to me that trigger me, or that I see, right? Was the conversation interesting enough? Did we cover the right topics? Did my brother think it was good? Did he feel like, is he feeling like this is still something that's, interesting to do? Did I do a good job? Did I sound stupid? Did I impress the person? All those things are constantly running. And I mentioned before, I think it's an opportunity, because the way I'm trying to look at this now is, okay, so in this version of it, some of those things came to life. Now what? What are you going to do with that? Some of those concerns are there. You're vulnerable. You're feeling some of that uncomfortableness. You're uneasy with aspects of it. Some of it legitimate, some of it probably not. But where do you go from here? That's the opportunity to change, right? To break patterns, to do something different that's going to lead to a better outcome, right? The easy thing to do, the thing I might have done, and may still do, frankly, but I'd like to think I wouldn't historically, is use this as a turning point. Start to say, it's too uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling. Catastrophize it. Probably just because I want to avoid that feeling of uncomfortableness and start to say this isn't working, it's a disaster, it's whatever, and start to sabotage it and ultimately kill it and let it die out so that I can avoid that uncomfortable feeling. Now, there's a point in my life where I wouldn't have even been aware, or at least acknowledged that I was aware of that's what I was doing, right? It wouldn't even been something that I would say out loud or even think directly. Then there's a point in which I might know it, but I would still do it because that uncomfortableness, the cost benefit, that's too high a cost. I'm not willing to pay that. I'm seeing this as an opportunity and as a test to say, hey, how much have I really evolved? How much have I really changed? You know, I like to talk about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and, you know, callousing the mind and building mental toughness and being more thoughtful and logical in the big L logic way. Well, this is an opportunity to do that. This is an opportunity to exhibit that mental toughness and say, hey, this is part of the process. You're going to have ones like this, which again, maybe it wasn't even that bad, but it triggered whatever it was for me. It was that bad. I felt it in different ways. So that mental toughness you talk about, let's see it. Let's see it come to fruition. And let's see it come to fruition in a couple ways, right? Facing it, acknowledging it, which I'm hoping this video is part of that, starting to process it and work through it and see what's real, what's not, and how I can most effectively move forward. So face that stuff, but have the true, be willing to get to the truth of the matter and have the conversations and even communicate some of the concerns and some of these points that are at play with my brother or whoever it is, and not shy away from it. Not worry about, assume he may be thinking this or I may be thinking that, or, you know, the person we interviewed may be thinking this. Have the direct conversation. Say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I'm thinking. Not sure if it's rational or not, but let's talk through it. And you shoot me straight. You tell me what you're thinking. And in theory, that should get us to a much better place. But it's in theory, right? It has to be in practice. And it has to be continue to do the thinking to identify what's the why and the next level why of why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, what made me feel so uncomfortable, what's behind that, what do you do about it? But then again, have the mental toughness to actually take the action, have the mental toughness to face that uncomfortableness and keep pushing forward. Because in many ways, that's what I've been practicing and training for, and this is one of the most important things to me. So this would be the prime opportunity to showcase that. Hopefully that's what I can do.